How's it going, everyone? Welcome to another video of this course. This is a video specifically explaining what decisional zones are and extreme zones are. I'm going to be showing some diagrams first for you to sort of understand how it looks like, and then I'm going to be following through with some live examples of trades that have already happened that show both decisional and extreme mitigations. Now let's have a look. So let's start with supply decisional mitigation. So essentially these diagrams show you how decisional mitigations look like for a supply zone and an extreme zone. So let's have a look at the decisional. Now you can see how this was the extreme that really was the start of the move down, and we have the decisional here, which basically did break structure points at these areas. Now in this case we do have a decisional mitigation and a push down, right? So this is what decisional looks like. Decisional basically is the last candle that caused the break of structure to the downside for supply, and extreme is the start of the move that caused the leg to break structure essentially, right? So that is your decision. You have your decisional here, you have your extreme here. So again, extreme is the start of the move down, decisional is the last candle that caused the break of structure down, right? So this is what your decisional mitigation looks like, where it mitigates the last candle that caused the break of structure here. Okay, so that is your decisional. Now let's have a look at extreme. Extreme, you have this zone here that caused the push down and a break of structure. So price mitigates the extreme point and breaks through the decisional. So this is what a supply extreme mitigation looks like. Now let's have a look at a demand decisional mitigation and the extreme mitigation. So we have a decisional mitigation over here, where you have the start of the move here, which is the extreme, and you have the decisional, which caused the break of structure over here, right? So this is what a decisional mitigation looks like, where it mitigates the last candle over here that caused the break of structure at this point here. Okay, so just to illustrate this better, this is basically a down move because that's what demand looks like. Just to be clear, so that we don't have any misunderstanding or misconception. So this is what your decisional mitigation looks like. This is what your extreme mitigation looks like. You have the decisional here, the last candle that caused the break of structure. You have your extreme, which is the start of the candle, basically the last candle that started the move up, right? So this is what the extreme mitigation looks like. So let's first look at a example of a demand decisional mitigation and a demand extreme mitigation. So you can see how in this case, this was a trade I basically did talk about. I did not take the trade because it was past my trading hours, so I don't take trades after that unless I really need to or the trade looks good. So you can see how in this case you have the extreme, the start of the move that really caused the push up, and you have the decisional that really caused the break of structure and the break of a supply zone. So you can see how this decisional actually did hold up. We ended up taking out the high here, and we came back down for a complex pullback to mitigate the extreme, which is the start of the move up. So this is what a live example of a decisional mitigation and an extreme mitigation for a demand specific scenario looks like, right? So let's have a look at a example of a sell, right? A supply zone. Now in this case we mitigated a higher time frame zone. I'm not going to go into that, but you've got your extreme zone, right? The start of the move down, and you have your decisional, which basically caused the break of structure and the break of a demand zone over here. So you can see how in this instance the decisional does not hold up, right? We break right through it. We didn't even react off of it or show any reaction. We broke right into it, right? And in this case the extreme was basically, price basically set up to mitigate the extreme zone, which it did over here, right? So we did get a mitigation of an extreme zone. Now you might start wondering which zones work out the best. Now I would say that before price, at this point in time, before this even happened, the decisional looks pretty decent. It makes sense to take it because bearish order flow would basically look something like this, right? We just continue all the way down. But the extreme, obviously after the decisional broke through, the extreme looks a lot better because of how price sets up. So My best suggestion is, if the decisional looks clear and it makes sense, take it as well. And if the decisional fails, then look for the extreme point to take your trade off of, right? Just because you took one loss doesn't mean the next loss doesn't mean you'll lose the next trade again, right? If you are following the rules that are set, clearly defined, then the extreme point or the decisional point will most likely hold up. It just depends on which one holds up. So take both of the trades, okay? So that will be all for this video, guys. I hope you get a better understanding of what extreme zones look like and decisional zones look like with real life examples of trades that have just occurred this week. If you guys have any questions on this, feel free to drop me a message and we can discuss about any questions you might have. Take care, everyone.